All right, so back into making some more isometric shapes here. Let's start off with our grid, and this is the ISO grid. I'm going to go over here to File, Save As. I'm going to save this as something different. Call it Isometric Text, and we'll go over here to our View and make sure that Snap to Pixel is unchecked, and go over here to Guides and make sure that you have set it to where the guides are locked. So you should see unlock guides here. So when you have your move tool selected, you can't select the guides. All right, so with that done, we'll just get our pen tool here. Let's sketch out a real quick cube. So I'm just gonna eyeball this, and if it's a little bit too tall, it's not a big deal. And we'll just sort of hold this up here and match those up. I'm gonna change the color to something other than black, say for instance like brown. And let's get in here a little bit closer. Alt, drag up on the mouse wheel. All right, cool, that's good. Oops, excuse me. All right, get the pen tool here, Control click off of that, click once. Let's see if we can't even this out here. I don't believe that's quite even here. Let's drag, oops. So A on the keyboard here, drag this up there, drag this down here. There we go, cool. Let's grab this, make sure the fill is a bit darker. And then lastly, we'll finish up with this square on the top. Okay, we must have something else selected here. I don't think we closed this out. Here we go, close that out. There we go, again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just make this fill be tan. All right, cool. So we can kind of see what's going on here once we get off of this. Awesome. Okay, so we've got this little box here. It's a little bit tall. It's all good. Let me just double check here. Yeah, these are even. These are even. Good stuff. All right, so let's take a look at making some text here. So let's get our text tool here, this little T icon, or just T on the keyboard. Click once, and then type in the number 1. And I'm going to just scale this up. I've chosen a font called Big Black Bear. You can choose whatever font you like. Let's choose something other than Myriad Pro, other than what's gonna, the default text. Alt drag it over, change it to 2. Alt drag it over and change it to 3. Okay, so let's use the SSR method for this. For all 3 of these, it's just like we can select all 3 of these and just right click on this and go to transform and scale, and just make sure it's set to 86.602 with non-uniform checked, and we're doing this under the vertical sort of axis here. Press OK, so everything's a little bit more squat. Right click on the first one, and we're just going to do one thing. We're just going to shear it once. We'll shear it once. Let's do 30 degrees. And this is going to be on the vertical here. So there's that. Press OK, and we'll just drag this up and place this right here. I'll do the same thing here. Right click on this, transform, go to shear. In this case, I'll change it to -30. Press OK. And then for the SSR method to kind of like fully be realized here, we can let's grab 2 here and just sort of pull this up a little bit. All right, there's that. We'll right click on this. We'll go to transform, go to shear, and we'll go to, what happened here? All right, we got 2 copies. Right click on it, transform, shear, and we'll go to, let's go on the horizontal axis, -30 degrees, and then we'll right click on this and go to transform, rotate 30 degrees. All right, there's that. Okay, and so we can put this on top of the box. Shrink that down. Okay, for this to fully work, we want to make sure these are kind of all same size-ish. So I'll scale this down some too. We can get our text, our little grid back here. We can kind of line up the tops of these along the same sort of thing here. So 2 and 1 are lined up there. And let's sort of put 1 here. And we'll put 3 kind of on that same line. I'll just shrink this down slightly. Just make sure we have that constrained. 2 and 3 should be kind of similar placed. All right, there we go, cool. And then we're also going to affect the color here. So let me just control semicolon to get that down. So I'm just going to make this sort of a lighter gray. So I'll get my fill, and I'll make this maybe like this color gray, maybe this color gray. And for the next one, for 1, I'll have this be a little darker. And for 2, I'll have it be even darker. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's see here. How big this is. Very neat. All right, there we go. Okay, cool. So that's how we just affect text by using the SSR method, the scale, shear, and rotate method. We're going to do one last thing here before we go. Let's just select everything, Control G, make it into a group, and we'll just, well, actually, you know what? We'll shrink it down a little bit here. Let's get our grid back on. I'm going to hold down Shift and Alt just to kind of shrink it down, and let's just make sure it's fitting into the grid. Here we go. Let's pull this from this way. Make this way a little bit. All right, that's good. Control semicolon here. Oh, no, Control semicolon back. Control click. Pen on the keyboard. P on the keyboard here. 1, 2, and let's just pull back. Maybe say towards the edge of the thing here. 3 and 4, and we'll just D on the A on the keyboard here. Grab this. Line it up. We're going to create a little shadow. Since this is the darkest side, the shadow is kind of falling this way. And what we'll do to kind of make this happen is we'll click on this little gray block here. Let's go over here to our gradient and click on gradient options. And let's just have it go from black to black. Double click on this, black. And for stop 1 over here, we'll make the opacity 50%. And for stop 2, we'll make the opacity 0%. Let's grab our gradient tool here and just click and drag from here to here. Maybe even like this. See if we can't line up. There we go. That looks good. All right, so I'm going to eyeball that. And then lastly, what we'll do is we'll add a little background color to this. Change it to, say for instance, I'll change it to like blue. Control Shift and open the square bracket here. Or just click on it, right click on it, arrange, and send to back. There's that. Cool, so we have our little 3D cube with some text on it. And honestly, from here, if you wanted to like alter the shape of the canvas, you could. But let's just go to File, Export for Screens, and save this somewhere. Make sure you click on this little file here. Call it Isometric Text. Export. Should open up the file here. Here's 1x, and here is our isometric text. Very cool. Awesome. Well, can't wait to see you guys produce. See you in class.